Next time you are in New York City, especially Manhattan and much of Brooklyn and Queens, try to find the power lines. You won't be able to. The reason? Most of them are buried underground. And the reason may surprise you. The fact is, before 1900, electricity cables once stretched above and across all of New York City's streets. In fact, according to the City University of New York, as the city became wired for telegraph, telephone, and for power, various companies as well as the city's police and fire departments implanted a vast array of poles in the streets of New York City. These poles soared 90 feet into the sky, held up to 24 crossties, each of which carried up to 20 wires. During this time, the city government grew increasingly concerned about this excessive wiring. Electrical wires often snapped, fell to the ground, and sent sparks flying towards the city's citizens, homes, and businesses. So, in 1884, the New York State Legislature ordered that all electrical and communication wires were to be buried underground. However, in the absence of strict enforcement and the high costs of insulating buried wires, New York businesses, for the most part, ignored the order. It would end up costing the city dearly. As the second to last weekend of the winter of 1888 began, New Yorkers went about their various pursuits unaware of a developing storm 1,000 miles to the west. A few enjoyed a weekend break from their offices in the financial district, while many prepared for another day of work before a Sunday reprieve, and still others trudged along with no such break in sight. Whatever their situation, New Yorkers had little clue what their world would look like when they awoke on Monday morning, March 12, 1888. By 7 a.m. on the morning of Monday, March 12, the temperature had dropped to single digits and 10 inches of snow were on the ground. Over the course of the next day and a half, another 11 inches of snow would fall. New York City was unprepared for a storm of this magnitude. New Yorkers were initially unaware of the severity of the blizzard, and many workers who left for jobs early in the morning ended up stranded en route. A powerful wind, gusting up to 80 miles per hour, piled snowdrifts that in some places reached the second stories of buildings. In the hours after the blizzard hit early on Monday morning, poles came crashing down from the weight of accumulating snow or after being struck by falling trees. Poles fell all over the city, taking neighboring trees and poles with them, and leaving sizzling, mangled wires that further obstructed streets already clogged with snowdrifts and blown-down signboards. Telegraph and telephone service was knocked out in every sector of the city. After several electrical wires snapped during the morning and company linemen refused to climb up during the blizzard to perform repairs, the city's electric companies decided, for the most part, to shut down service in anticipation of severe problems. By evening, with snow still blowing, the only light in the city was gaslight and candlelight, remnants of decades past. And in the days following the blizzard, the poles and the wires complicated the city's cleanup efforts. Some 200 New York City residents perished. The New York Tribune reminded citizens in an editorial on March 13 that a law had been passed to bury the wires, that the companies had the money to make it happen. While the blizzard of 1888 drew significant attention to the threat the wires posed to public safety, resolution of the situation was still nearly 2 years away. In the blizzard's aftermath, New Yorkers redoubled their commitment to use technological advancements to ease the burden such natural disasters placed on the city. Within a few short years after the blizzard, the city's electrical and telegraph wires were buried underground, while the storm fostered demand for building of an underground transportation system, today's subway. Today, most of New York City's power lines are buried underground. And, what's more, the city's remaining above-ground power lines are being moved underground each year. The work resulting from the Great Blizzard of 1888 continues.